Hi there, welcome to the Wee Garden. If you're new here, if you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Claudia, for those that don't know, and I'm doing this garden tour. It's actually Monday, but we'll still call it the first Saturday because it's pretty close. Really busy at work on Saturday. I had a thing in the morning at work, and then I had to work, and then yesterday I was just so exhausted I couldn't get out here and do it. I wanted to start here though. I don't know if you can see that. That is our rainfall from yesterday. That is just under 3.5 inches. We got a 1/4 inch on Saturday, and we had dumped it yesterday morning. We got all this yesterday afternoon. On top of the 2 inches and the 4.5 inches last week, the garden is loving all this water. I wish we could get a little bit of this in the winter time. So I'm going to dump this, and we'll see what happens today. It's starting to cloud up already, so I know there's some coming. So the garden tour, the summertime for the garden for us is not as productive as the winter time. There's a lot of things we can't grow here. So a lot of the beds are either empty or they have been emptied and they're overgrown with weeds. All of the 6 original plus the little metal one that we got 2 years ago, those are all, everything's going to be ripped out of those. I'm going to include getting the weeds out, the roots out as much as I can. And we'll cover them with plastic wrap and do a solarization on them for the next, I think it's like six to 8 weeks over the summer. This is the good time to do it. We did it last year on a couple of the beds, and they produced much better this past year than they did the year before. So that's what we're going to do. So I know a lot of the garden looks a little rough, and on my plate this week is getting as many of these beds covered this week into next week. The plastic came the other day, so I know some of it looks a little rough, but that's how it goes. You know, if you're gardening up north, you look fantastic in the spring and over the summer, and then going into fall and early winter, things start to go. So that's how it is for us. It's just a little flipped. I do have still a lot of production coming from the garden, and we'll try to focus on that. So without talking your ear off, let's get going on this. So I'm just going to do a quick pan on this end of the garden. This is one of the beds we're pulling out. We're going to pull those onions out. Those were supposed to be Egyptian walking onions. I'm sure they are. They're not walking very well, though. These peppers have all burned off. I found nematodes in this bed, so they weren't going to make it much longer anyway. The broccoli is done as far as really production goes. We've had a few heads coming up, but basically it's just full of bugs. We've actually been picking them and feeding them to the chickens. So as they come out, they'll be going to the chickens. These tomatoes, I will hopefully pick some today, but we had a big problem with the leaf-footed stink bugs, and they have just been tearing the fruit up. Those other tomatoes down there, those were from the winter, and they have finished producing. And you can see what I'm talking about with the bugs here. That one right there. Right there, yeah. And oh, looks like a bird got that one too. So we'll be picking these tomatoes and throwing them out for the chickens along with the broccoli, and just getting these emptied out so we can replant in the fall. Salad table, that all needs to come out also. The chickens will eat it, and then I'll reset it. It's mostly shade, so I might be able to get some more greens out of it. I mean, there's really only 2 plants in there right now anyway. The new Vigo bed is almost full, and I have seedlings up on the porch for that. More broccoli that needs to come out. This is another one of the beds that will solarize and cook off. This broccoli needs to come out. This squash was fantastic, and I might see if I can start one in a pot and let it grow the trellis. And I am going to be starting some long beans in a pot and let them grow the trellis. These onions are ready to come out. I think this is as big as they're going to get, and that's fine. These were Walmart starts that I grabbed last minute. That's what I got. Oh, yeah, it just started raining. So this back bed, that's also a bed that's going to get baked off. This one's going to get baked off behind the lattice here, and this one here, definitely. I did start pulling out of this one. This was all tomato plants, and I got the plants out. I just have to dig the rest of the weeds up. So now let's turn around and get to things that are producing. So these are Tam jalapenos. I've never grown them before. They're supposed to have the jalapeno flavor without the heat. So I have 2 of those. We'll see how they are. I've never done them before. Got a couple of avocados nestled back in the weeds there. I've got these amazing yellow lunchbox peppers. I've picked a couple so far, and it's like we got a ripe one there. These plants are just loaded, just loaded. I'm totally excited about this. I pulled this tomato out, and that basil got sunburned, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. Oh, it's raining. Yay. I've got some basil coming up in the sink here, and I'm just trying to keep up with the weeds in here. Yeah. This little guy here is actually going down to the grandbaby's house. She was eating a little lunchbox pepper one day, and she said, can I plant seeds? We planted 2 seeds. They both came up. I potted them for her, and she'll be getting those probably this week. I'll run them down there. The rosemary is doing fantastic. I got to let Maisie in because it's raining, and she's scared of the rain. Come on, Mace. Come on, Maisie. No, you're not coming in? Sounds like Salty's out there mowing. Oh, now she's back at the door. Come on, Mace. I'm not sure if that's him or if that's them mowing over at the school. Either way, we'll just deal with it. Oh, what fresh heck is this? You know what those are on that pepper down there? You know what those are? Can you see them? Can you see them right there? I don't want to get too close because I don't want them on me. Those are... Maisie, you're bumping the camera. Those are stink bug nymphs. They got to go. So I've got the peppers coming ripe here, all through here. These are all bells that I started with, bell peppers that I got at my local farmer's market. I have a couple of okra in the front of this bed here. They're coming up pretty nice. And then I've got all this, I'm backing up here. Kajari melon. Yeah, that's a lot of Kajaris there. I put six plants in because I've never had success with them before, and let me tell you, I'm thrilled to death. So this next bed over has some. These are sweet cayenne, so they should be the size and the color of cayennes, but they're not hot. The middle here is a giant bell. And then these are the Cubanelles. We've been eating a lot of the Cubanelles lately. They are so good. I think I almost prefer them in cooking. I almost prefer them over, there's a nice one. Probably tomorrow or the next day I'll be picking that one. I almost prefer them over the bells in cooking. And then I've got some more bells from those same seeds that I saved from the peppers from up the street. And we actually ate from these last night and from the other ones. I got some yellow ones over here and the red ones over there. We had stuffed peppers last night. They were amazing. So I've got a couple more of these bush beefsteaks that I tried to throw in the early spring. They were producing. I don't know that they still are, but again, the stink bugs got them. So that's what I got there. Mordecai's keeping us company too. Alrighty, so we're actually outside of the garden now. This is the okra I planted probably about, I don't know, 6 or 8 weeks ago. It's doing really well. It's getting really big. I don't see any, oh, there might be some blooms on there just coming up, but this is doing really well. I'm very happy with that. And these are some of the seeds, some of what's going to go in that birdie bed when it's full. I have, let's see if we can see that. I have poblanos over here. This is the first time I've gotten poblanos to sprout that well. I guess this was the right time of year. And then I've got some Listada de Ganda eggplant. These were old seeds, and I planted heavy because I didn't know how many were going to come up. And I would say there's enough to share. Then over here, these are not going to go out in the garden. These are orange hat dwarf tomatoes, and they are actually going to go in a pot on the porch here. Alrighty, here we are. Woo! I got my sneakers on. I'm trying to avoid the squishy spots. There's a lot of rain yesterday. Last week it soaked in really quick. This week the ground is already wet, so it's not soaking in very fast. Walking to the Seminole pumpkins. If you remember last month when I did my garden tour, the Seminole pumpkins were really not doing very well. They just could not get, we just couldn't get enough water out here. We tried. All this rain has been fantastic for them. I've got a big one here. That one's about, I don't know, 3 inches across and getting bigger. I've got a couple of little ones, they just never developed, but they ripened. So I don't know, I'll pick them and see what's going on with them. Got a nice one here. That one's about 5 inches across. The one inside that I discovered last month is doing well. I don't know if you can see it right there. Let me see if I can get my finger in there. Right there. This is a new one that just got fertilized right here. And that one's probably about 4 inches across. So they are looking so much better with this rain that we've been getting. I think maybe I just put them in a little early and they just didn't get enough rain. So that's that. All right, so I'm going to finish it up here. Thanks for joining me for my June garden tour. My first Saturday garden tour. Yes, I know I did it on Monday, but that's okay. It's close enough. It's still in the first week, so we'll call it good. Thanks so much for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Hopefully next month I'll have more exciting stuff to show you. I don't know. July, August, there's not a lot going on out here. Just the hot weather stuff. Okra, Seminole pumpkins. Some of the peppers, I'm not sure how long the bells will hold on. The bigger peppers really don't like the heat, but they're doing famously now, so I will leave them in as long as I can. And by next month, I should have all those empty beds weeded and covered. So we'll check back again. Thanks for joining.